There are moments in an artist's career that are loud, and then there are moments that are quiet. Moments that don't come with official announcements, dramatic teasers, or grand statements. Moments that unfold slowly, almost invisibly, until suddenly everyone feels that something has changed. That is exactly what many fans around the world are beginning to feel when it comes to Jungkook. There is no confirmed comeback announcement tied to this change, no clear headline that defines it. And yet, across social platforms, fan communities, and global discussions, one sentiment keeps appearing again and again. Something about Jungkook feels different. Not drastically different, but undeniably so. And that difference has sparked a growing question. Is Jungkook quietly entering a new, more mature era? Unlike previous transitions in his career, this shift did not begin with a music release or a visual concept. There was no sudden transformation. Instead, it emerged gradually, through small, almost unnoticeable details. A glance during a performance, a pause in a live stream, a tone in his voice that seemed deeper, more grounded than before. Fans began pointing out that Jungkook's energy had subtly evolved. Where he was once known for boundless, youthful enthusiasm, there is now a sense of calm control. Not less passion, but more direction. And that distinction is what caught people's attention. Because this is not about losing who he was, it's about becoming something more. For years, Jungkook carried the title of Golden Maknae within BTS, a nickname that represented his versatility, talent, and youthful brilliance. He was the member who could sing, dance, perform, and adapt to any concept. But time has passed, and with time, roles evolve. Today, Jungkook is no longer just the youngest member of a global group. He is a global artist in his own right. This shift has been building for years, but in recent months, it has become more visible than ever. Not because he is trying to change, but because growth at this level becomes impossible to hide. With global recognition comes something else: pressure. Not the kind of pressure that pushes someone to perform, but the kind that demands consistency, identity, and longevity. Jungkook is no longer just meeting expectations, he's defining them. Every appearance, every performance, every decision carries weight, not only for himself, but for the image he represents on a global scale. And fans are beginning to see how he carries that weight differently now. There is more composure, more intention, more awareness. This is not the energy of someone discovering their path. It's the energy of someone choosing it carefully. One of the most noticeable changes fans have pointed out is Jungkook's presence, not just how often he appears, but how he appears. In the past, Jungkook was known for spontaneous interactions, playful moments, and an openness that made fans feel close to him. That warmth is still there, but now it is paired with something else: control. His appearances feel more deliberate, his words feel more measured, his expressions feel more thoughtful. And this has led many fans to believe that Jungkook is becoming more aware of his influence and more selective about how he uses it. This is often a key sign of an artist transitioning into a more mature phase. Not withdrawing, but refining. While there has not yet been a fully defined new era, fans have already begun speculating about how Jungkook's music might evolve. Because if his presence has changed, it is only natural to wonder, will his sound change too? In his previous work, Jungkook demonstrated an ability to blend global pop influences with emotional storytelling. But recent discussions suggest that fans expect something deeper, something more personal, something that reflects not just who he was, but who he is becoming. A more mature era often brings more introspective lyrics, a deeper vocal tone, greater creative control. And if Jungkook continues on this trajectory, his next project could reveal an entirely new dimension of his artistry. Another detail that has fueled speculation is Jungkook's periods of silence. In the fast-moving world of global entertainment, silence can be unusual, but it can also be intentional. Many artists choose to step back, not because they have nothing to say, but because they are preparing something bigger. Fans have begun to interpret Jungkook's quieter moments not as absence, but as focus, a sign that he may be working behind the scenes, planning, refining, building something that requires time. Because sometimes the most important phases of an artist's career are the ones that happen out of sight. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of this transformation is not visual or technical. It is emotional. Fans often describe it in simple terms. He feels different. Not distant, not disconnected, just different. More grounded, more reflective, more aware. This emotional shift is difficult to define, but easy to feel. And it is often one of the clearest indicators of growth. Because while skills can improve and concepts can change, emotional presence is something that cannot be easily constructed. It evolves, naturally, and fans are noticing it in Jungkook. As BTS moves toward its next chapter, Jungkook's evolution raises another question. What role will he play in the group's future? He has always been central to BTS's identity, vocally, visually, and performatively. But as his individual artistry grows stronger, his influence within the group may also evolve. Not necessarily as a leader, but as a creative force, a voice that helps shape direction, a presence that anchors performances, a perspective that reflects both experience and growth. And if this is true, Jungkook's transformation may not just impact his solo career, it could influence the next era of BTS itself. One of the most complex challenges for any global artist is balance. The balance between what fans expect, what the industry demands, and what the artist truly wants. Jungkook has spent years navigating this balance, but as he enters a more mature phase, that balance may shift. Because maturity often brings clarity, and clarity leads to choices. Choices about creative direction, public presence, personal boundaries, and perhaps most importantly, identity. Who is Jungkook, not just as a member of BTS, but as an individual artist? This question may be at the center of his current transformation. At this point, there is no official statement confirming a new era, no announcement that defines this shift. And yet, the signs are there, in his presence, in his silence, in the way fans feel that something has changed. And sometimes, that is how the most important transformations begin. Not with a moment, but with a process. A quiet, steady evolution that eventually becomes impossible to ignore. So, the question remains, is Jungkook simply growing, as all artists do over time? Or is he standing at the edge of something bigger? A new chapter, a new identity, a new era that has not yet been fully revealed? Whatever the answer may be, one thing is certain. Jungkook is no longer just evolving, he's transforming. And if this transformation continues, the next time he steps into the spotlight, he may not just return as the artist fans know, he may return as someone entirely new. There is a moment in every global star's journey when silence becomes louder than applause. For Jungkook, that moment may be happening right now. Over the past few years, his rise from the golden maknae of BTS to a global solo powerhouse has been nothing short of extraordinary. Records were broken, charts were dominated, and every move he made was watched by millions. But with that level of attention comes something far heavier: expectation. And not just any expectation, the kind that follows you even when you log off, even when the lights go out, even when you think no one is watching. Fans began to notice subtle changes during recent interactions, particularly on Weaver's. His tone felt softer, sometimes distant. His pauses were longer. His smiles, while still warm, seemed more measured. For many, it wasn't alarming, but for others, it was enough to spark a wave of concern. Because Jungkook has never been just an artist, he has always been someone who gives everything. And sometimes giving everything means leaving very little for yourself. One of the most fascinating and complicated elements of modern fandom is how deeply connected fans feel to artists. In Jungkook's case, that connection is amplified. Across platforms like Reddit, discussions began to surface. Threads analyzing his expressions, his voice, even the timing of his responses during live streams gained traction. Some comments were simple, "He looks tired." Others were more emotional, "I hope he's okay." But what started as concern quickly evolved into something larger: interpretation. Fans began dissecting every detail, trying to understand what might be happening behind the scenes. And while this level of attention comes from love, it also creates a delicate situation. Because sometimes what fans see isn't the full picture, and sometimes the story they build is shaped more by fear than by fact. In moments like these, fans often look to one place for clarity: the agency. HYBE, the company behind BTS, has long been known for its strategic communication. When major issues arise, official statements are usually released to address public concern. But in this case, there has been no formal response regarding Jungkook's condition or well-being, and that silence has only fueled speculation further. For some fans, the lack of a statement is reassuring. No news is good news, they say. For others, it raises questions. Why aren't they saying anything? The truth is, not every situation requires public clarification. Artists, like anyone else, are entitled to privacy, especially when it comes to personal well-being. But in the world of global fandom, silence can often be interpreted as mystery, and mystery invites speculation.